As Lennox moved closer, a sniper's bullet struck his protective shield, evidence that danger was nearby. He reinforced the barrier and attempted to track the sniper's location, but it was Taylor who diverted his focus. Determined not to lose his target, he aimed his gun and shot down the sniper. This act was calculated, designed to portray him as a ruthless and unrelenting hunter. The sniper's hesitation allowed Lennox to summon a lightning spell to his palm, further demonstrating his power. As the confusion grew, dark clouds gathered, and Lennox called upon the spell Thunder, unleashing a massive bolt that illuminated the surroundings. Taylor took advantage of the chaos to escape, leaving behind only a bag at the bar's entrance. Inside, evidence of Taylor's demise was presented, confirming the completion of the quest. The bartender verified the body and informed him of his reward, 270,000 cells after taxes. Emerging from the back door, Jenny praised his efficiency and inquired about his skills and talents. She agreed to trust him for more deals, but waiting was necessary because she had to report to Achilles. When Lennox left, the bartender shared results from surfing the scavenger network, while Jenny watched in awe. Lennox went to the Balkan Library to study magic and ways to extend his lifespan due to the draining karma system. Reading about mana theory, he realized his immense talent. As dusk neared, he discovered that the concept of mana he knew had been erased. Magic used to be split into powerful, unique magic and common magic, but now, common magic was gone, and time magic was a mystery. Disappointed, he heard a voice urging him to become a mage. He turned to see a blonde lady who explained how independent mages needed talent. She gave him her business card and left. He was amazed at her young professor status, considering his own exhaustion. Deciding to buy nutritious food, a cop's mana pattern check surprised him. He continued, and a girl at a stall asked if he had done something wrong. They talked, and she shared she was rich and grew vegetables as a hobby. She offered him onions for insomnia, and he requested onions and bell peppers. His unique mana pattern indicated he was new, and he walked away determined. He researched for days, wanting to improve with common magic, but he lacked clues on inherent magic and grew unwell. To access better drugs, he needed an identity. Talking to Jenny at the bar, he learned identities were costly. Business jobs paid better than bounty hunts. She mentioned Charlotte from the 42nd District studied anti-aging and cell revival in humans. Although there were stories about really harshly taking off someone's face, the big company didn't give up because they had government support. The new group that wanted something was a makeup company called Varitz. They had two things they wanted. First, they needed to hack into the company and get secret information. They said they'd pay $350 million for that. But if that was too hard, they'd give $50 million just to wreck the factory. The first thing was too tough to do for just $350 million. So Lennox agreed to the second thing. Jenny was happy about that, and she introduced her partner for the job. Right when they were talking about it, a guy who tried to act like Deadpool came in. Jenny said his name was Dylan O'Casey. He was a cheap fighter and not that great. They all said hi and stuff, but Lennox wanted to know why they were working together. Dylan said he was fine working alone, but Jenny made him join. They talked about sharing the rewards. Jenny didn't say anything about Dylan before, so she agreed to share. Dylan talked to Jenny, and she got him down on the ground. She's strong. Jenny said she'd check out the factory's plans. The place they wanted to hit was in a good area, and Dylan said Jenny never gave up her share of money before. He gave Lennox a card for a job, but it was a secret from Jenny. Dylan wanted to fight and show off his skills. Going through his bag, he pulls out quite a peculiar mask. At first he doesn't want to use it, but Dylan keeps insisting, so he puts on the mask. It's a lot like the one Kakashi wears. The two friends, Dylan and Lennox, have a plan to get into the factory. Dylan's going to distract the guards, and Lennox will sneak in to plant the explosive. It sounds simple, but they're not sure how it will go. Dylan's a wild card, unpredictable. Dylan approaches the guards, whistling like it's no big deal. One of the guards turns around, surprised to see his buddy knocked out. Dylan's fast and sneaky, knocking the guard out too. But oops! Another guard hidden nearby sends a message about the intruders. Dylan smirks at the hidden guard, kind of impressed by their teamwork. He even mentions Jenny, who's really good at reading people. Then he takes out a vial of something called Viper. It sounds dangerous. He's getting ready to use it as he gets closer to a locked door. He furnished the Dyke laser cutter and slid open the door lock. He finds a scared security guard inside and knocks him out using nature's sleep. With a decisive determination to protect innocent civilians from the impending explosion, Dylan activated his magical marionette skill. He maneuvered the strings deftly, guiding the unconscious man to safety. As he descended a staircase, distant screams reached his ears, showcasing Dylan's efficient planning. His steps were calculated as he aimed to complete the task smoothly. Outside, a guard noticed Dylan's presence and let out a startled yell, but before he could raise an alarm, a flying duffel bag struck him, silencing him swiftly. Dylan advanced confidently, reaching the entrance of the factory. With a swift motion, he opened the shutter, revealing an emptiness that echoed through the space. Stepping inside, lasers crisscrossed his path, the challenge of it all exhilarating to him. All his adversaries had assembled voluntarily, a thrilling sight indeed. He expertly zapped past an array of troopers, the sound of his shots reverberating in the air. Launching himself forward again, he skillfully weaved through the hail of bullets, his movements almost dance-like. One trooper met his fist, crashing to the ground as Dylan stood before the fallen, his appetite for the fight only growing stronger. Meanwhile, Lennox had arrived at the temperature gas control area of the factory. With meticulous precision, he loosened the controls, setting the stage for a massive explosion. Content with his work, he needed nothing more than a simple ignition spell to set his plan in motion. He was grateful to the lady who sold vegetables. He had learned to do magic and mix different types together. He turned on a timer, setting it to explode in 5 minutes. Ready to go, a loud noise surprised him. The shutter popped out and a guy trying to be like Deadpool came in, followed by another guy who wanted to be like Killer Croc. Lennox came rushing in. He saw the two facing off and wondered who the crocodile-like guy was. As they talked, Croc said he got paid a huge amount, 10 billion cells. Dylan felt down when he heard that, but Croc offered him an easy death. Dylan said no and asked for his stuff back. Even though he tossed a spear at Croc, Dylan knew it wouldn't do much harm. Suddenly, Croc threw him against the wall. Croc laughed at the pain Dylan talked about. Then Dylan got an axe and charged at Croc. He got thrown against another wall. Lennox could clearly see that he was just trying to stall for time, but the clock was ticking down, showing only 2 minutes and 17 seconds left. He watched Dylan closely, convinced that the Croc had more power than both of them combined. He needed to figure out how to control something he couldn't escape. Dylan's energy had changed. He seemed to have lost that intense fierceness he once had as a kid. But then, unexpectedly, Dylan drew out a pair of sharp daggers, his eyes ablaze with a renewed, savage determination. They clashed with a clash that sent sparks flying. Dylan was quick, creating illusions that made it seem like he was in two places at once. As Croc caught on, he adjusted his strategy, attacking from behind. They moved with such speed that it was hard to keep up. Blows and punches exchanged in a blur of motion. Lennox's eyes widened as he saw Dylan's next move. A lightning bind, a surprise maneuver that shocked them both. Dylan cursed at Croc, calling him a low-budget Deadpool, and charged forward. Croc tried to strike back, but Dylan managed to escape by leaping away. In a swift motion, Croc's tail snaked out and grabbed Dylan by the neck, asking about a secret mage friend. But before he could do anything more, Dylan was propelled through the back wall, crashing outside. Croc decided to track down the mage, while Lennox entered through the front door. He was amazed by Croc's strength, but he knew he needed to focus on finding Dylan. He moved toward the source of Dylan's presence, finding him not far away. As he approached, he saw Dylan struggling, lost in thought. Lennox considered how to move Dylan. He concentrated, summoning strength and speed he had been avoiding due to his reliance on mana. He lifted Dylan and began to drag him away from the factory that was about to explode. Meanwhile, Croc was searching inside the factory, seeking the elusive mage. Suddenly, Croc's unease turned into realization as the ignition timer reached its limit, resulting in a massive explosion that shook the area. Even though they were protected by a barrier, the explosion's impact was painful. Dylan, shaken but alive, used another vial of something called Viper. He asked Dylan if it was some kind of physical booster, warning him about its dangerous side effects. With the request fulfilled, Dylan praised Dylan's superhuman abilities. He then offered to leave quickly if Lennox wanted to avoid dying in the ongoing chaos. Dylan's voice was filled with certainty as he asked if Lennox doubted Croc's survival. He even joked about Croc training alone in the mountains. Suddenly, a voice echoed through the rubble. Croc and Achilles from Pandemonium. The voice was vengeful and menacing, promising to kill them. Crocken was a former war mercenary turned executive for Pandemonium, a notorious organization of dangerous outlaws. The wall behind bust open, and Croken emerged, surrounded by blazing flames. Dylan's heart raced, and fear gripped him. He thought about running, but before he could take a step, Crocken charged towards the flames. Dylan's feet felt glued to the ground as he watched in terror. Croken sliced through the flames, injuring 2 others in the process. Crocken stopped and bared his sharp claws, locking eyes with his targets. He asked if the skinny lad before him was the lightning mage. Lennox knew there was no escape. Dylan was scared but safe. Lennox understood that he had to end this fight quickly. Dragging it out would only tire him out. As Kroken approached, Lennox activated his magic, creating gravitational binds that emerged like dark leashes. Kroken was immobilized, but he challenged the bind's strength. Some tore away, and Kroken taunted the spell. Lennox didn't back down and bound Kroken's snout shut, but it wasn't enough. Lennox needed to use the rest of his mana. Kroken charged forward, breaking through the gravitational bonds. Lennox prepared for the next move. Kroken's attack was fierce, but Lennox unleashed a powerful spell called Frost Wave. The beast froze in a capsule of frost, struggling against the magic's hold. Dylan shivered as he saw the massive cold taking over the scene. Escape seemed possible now, but the frozen cage began to crack. Lennox realized they needed a plan before Kroken broke free. His mana was nearly depleted. He remembered the gun he had scavenged before, a weapon that required minimal mana. With his vast experience, he aimed the gun, using trajectory guidance, penetration reinforcement, and projectile acceleration. The gun wouldn't hold much mana, but it didn't matter. What will happen next? Find out next time by staying tuned for our future recaps. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more great recaps.